Good morning, everyone. This is Rick Murphy with AllNet. Thank you for your time this morning. Today's webinar will be on SureCall, the cellular boosting product. We've got with us Eric Merzel from SureCall. Some of you remember Eric. He's worked with us in the past with other brands, and we're happy to have him on board with us with the SureCall brand. I also want to say that our YouTube channel for AllNet Distributing is where we will be archiving all of this this presentation as well as our previous presentations. So if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. We're adding new content on a weekly basis. Also, if you've got any colleagues who are not able to attend today, please feel free to pass along the link that you will receive later today once that is posted. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Eric Merzel from SureCall.
Thank you very much, Rick. Hi, everybody. I appreciate your time. I think the biggest question that a lot of us ask ourselves is the question that's on the bottom here, right? Is the booster market where I should be expanding my business? With the dependency of everybody with their cell phones nowadays, from more of the social media, the common users that are out there, to people who are running Fortune 500 businesses, in multiple locations throughout the world, cellular phones definitely are the epitome of having the connection and making the deal or not. So finding that value and offering the proper value to your customers is important. And the product is a solution that's been out for about 16 years now, but it really hasn't truly taken off until about the last 2 years. And that's where it's become very easy to install, and also it works. At the end of the day, it just absolutely works. So my name is Eric Merzel. I'm the Director of Sales for North America. My phone number right on the page here is available to you guys. I'm available 24/7 for you. Any questions, concerns, comments, whatever it might be, just feel free to reach out to me on my phone, shoot me a text message. I've got guys that FaceTime me constantly. I am an iOS user. Don't hold that against me. And then also you can reach out to me via my email address there at eric.merzel@surecall.com. So we're going to cover a couple different things here. We're going to cover who is SureCall, what the size of the market really looks like. We're going to cover some of the products and what the right products are for you, but really what we're going to focus on is more of how do we do a proper site survey, what are the tools of the trade, and then from that solution, what are the actual products that fit that particular user's capacities. So getting right into it, who is SureCall? SureCall is the performance leader in cell phone booster technology. We definitely go above and beyond when it comes down to not only the product side of the world and the product support, but more of the solutions and the service side of it. I can tell you that the FCC mandates what we can and can't do in this particular industry. So we make the boosters that fit the maximum requirements that the FCC will allow. There are automatic gain controls on all the boosters that we make. The differentiator for us, we're a very innovative company, and you're going to hear that over and over and over again just because some of the products that we offer to you guys, nobody else makes in the industry. And it also comes down to the actual service and market support. I do live in the Chicagoland area. I just live outside of Naperville. So anybody that's in the AllNet/Tandem family, if you ever have any issues with a product, I know I've met a couple of you out in job sites to either help with a first site survey or help with the troubleshooting techniques. And every job that we've gone out to, we're able to fix. So definitely utilize me as a good resource in your marketplace. SureCall was founded in 2001. We're still based out of the same office. We've just continually expanded in Fremont, California. And we make solutions that'll do up to 500,000 square feet. So anything from your common residential home to the large commercial spaces, we have a solution for you, and at price points that range anywhere from a $300 per entry-level price point up to you tell me how big of a job you need it, and we'll build the job for you. A lot of our first-to-market innovations with the most powerful boosters that are out there are definitely, with the technologies we have, definitely put us a step forward to a lot of the competitors that are out there in the marketplace, and we've won a lot of new awards that are out there. So some of the innovative designs that are out there, every one of our products that we make is aluminum casting or metal. We've got big heat sinks on it. Let's face it, these things are just amplifiers, and to ensure we get the performance we want out of it, we want to make sure that we can dissipate that heat as fast as we can. I'll show you what compartmentalized design looks like versus what the competition designs. And then, of course, the linearity leads right into the simultaneous user capacity and then remote monitoring capabilities. When we talk about user capacity, there isn't a booster in the market that has unlimited capacity. A cellular tower has capacity limitations to it as well. But if I looked at our boosters, some of our bigger ones will handle up to 100 simultaneous users per band, which is a 5-band booster, so we can do up to 500 simultaneous callers. And if I looked at our Force 5 booster, compartmentalized design, if you see all the little metal chassis that are in here, these are all your uplink and downlink controls. The compartmentalized design is in there to eliminate any type of crosstalk or reduce the amount of crosstalk that we would see in a booster normally, which allows us for, again, linearity or throughput. It allows for greater throughput so I can have greater call quality, faster data speeds across the board of our products themselves. Some of the other things, if we look at the boosters, these large little capacitor-looking deals, or chipsets, I should say, on the top here, these are the cellular processing boards that we manufacture that we put into our boosters, which allow for a much more the linearity side. If I look at what the competitors use, these little black chips that are down here, and these are the little chips that you find inside of a cell phone. So for a single user, they work great. You can probably put up to about anywhere from 10 to 15 users on them without any issues. Once you get beyond that, it's not that they won't work. It's just they start to reduce the amount of call clarity that you would normally have. So the design and manufacturing of our boosters comes first and foremost, and then, of course, on the cellular side or the support side, we're definitely best in class. All of our boosters are 5-band, meaning they will work for all carriers. They'll work for voice, text, and up to LTE, 4G LTE. We are the first manufacturer with a 7-band booster, meaning it'll work with all of the carriers, but it will also support Wi-Fi and HDTV capabilities. And then with remote monitoring is a huge opportunity to save you guys a lot of time, effort, and energy, especially if there's ever an issue with the booster. It allows you to control some of the overpowering and adjust the gains while you're either sitting in your office or on your iPhone or Android device. There's some apps out there that you can log right into it and control the device. So it saves you that truck charge. How do the systems work? Very, very easy. If I looked at how the systems work here, we do require some type of a working outdoor signal. So rule of thumb for you guys, if I can make a phone call outside of the building and I can walk around the perimeter of the building and not drop a phone call, I can make your system work. Now, there's a little bit more work that we have to do to ensure all of the carriers are going to work for you, and that's where a site server really comes into play. But as long as we have that good outside signal, we do require an outdoor signal for most of our larger boosters, so we have to get an outdoor antenna. We wire that into our booster, and then we go into up to 6 antennas, but we can cover just coming out of the booster into a splitter, and then we kind of work down from there. So the opportunity that's really kind of out there and how it works, there's a lot of competitors, right? I mean, DAS is a distributed antenna system. That's the gold standard in this industry. Those are really more than like usually installed by FCC certified integrators. Carriers like to put these in. But what they do is they are great for large venues. If you've been to CES or if you've been to McCormick Place in Chicago for the auto show or any event that they have, those are all DAS systems. It is a direct line right into the carrier's network. So they have their own feed into it, their own towers. The drawback to it is they're very, very expensive. It's anywhere from $2 to $4 and up per square foot. And just to deploy it, it usually takes 6 months to get the approvals. And when you think about costs, you're looking at $2 to $4 a square foot. You're like, well, that's not too bad. But if we're doing, a 500,000 square foot or a 1 million square foot building, the costs rise considerably. There's also Phantom cells, Pico cells, or other internet solutions that are out there, and these are typically provided by the carriers. So the average user, if you have a standard home, the average user, 1 to 2 people inside the home, and they're having issues with connectivity. A lot of times these devices range anywhere from $200, depending on the device, to $600, and they will utilize your Wi-Fi network to do a voice over IP. They're a good solution for your average consumer. The only drawback to them is they do not allow you to handoff back to the cellular network. So if you are inside, and if you're a wanderer like me when I'm on a phone, and I'm walking from, or pacing, I guess is what my wife calls it, pacing from the den or office back and forth to the living room area on a conference call, if you get too close to a window, or if you step outside the house, you're going to end up dropping the call when your Wi-Fi signal becomes too weak because it cannot hand off to the network. So for the business associates that are out there, people who are running business in their homes, it's not always the best solution that's out there. And then there's the SureCall products, which we considered ourselves a passive DAS system. And this is a solution that is just an extension, as I mentioned, an extension of the outdoor signal. So we're going to take that outdoor network, we're going to re-amplify it. You can walk from outside to inside, maintain your phone call, and then go from inside back to outside and still maintain your phone call. So there's a lot of benefits of having the SureCall product. We're typically anywhere, depending on the product itself, anywhere from about 25 cents a square foot up to about $1 a square foot for some of the larger components that are out there. So if I looked at the true overall opportunity, I'm going to use DAS here just because of the dollars that are associated with it. But if I looked at the full DAS network, it's about $8 billion worth of revenue that's out there. And that would include those stadiums and arenas, the larger, like the McCormick Places of the world or trade show centers. But if I get into the smaller aspects of this buildings here, we have about a $39 billion market that we can play on that would allow us to, especially if you're more looking at some of the commercial products that are out there, so much opportunity in it. And when we get into the residential world, it's about a $950 million opportunity just in the consumer side of the world. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity in the marketplace. Some of our largest clients, NASA being one of them, I find this to be quite comical. They can put people in space, they can put people on the moon, but they just couldn't figure out how to get their cellular systems to work inside, so they came to us. We ended up winning the bid for a couple reasons. One of them was just the DAS network they were looking at. The timetable was way too long. The carrier solutions weren't being productive enough because not everybody had the same manufacturer or same provider. Some had AT&T, some had Verizon, and all the carriers were having issues with the phones in these areas, these big metal buildings. So we were able to deploy this thing in just about 3 days at about a fifth of the cost of a DAS network. So the product truly works very, very well once we get it installed and installed properly. So as a whole, those opportunities that are out there and where we've seen a lot of success, retail spaces, warehouses, medical facilities, large residential homes, MDU units, so big apartment complexes, where the icing on, or the tip of the iceberg, schools and universities. If you guys get a chance, go check out Department of Homeland Security website and just type in government grant for DHS. And what you'll find in there is about a $50,000 grant by the federal government provided to all of the educational formats or institutes in here to ensure that there is cellular and public safety signals throughout the building. If there's not, they will automatically give you this particular grant. It takes about a month to 2 months to get the approvals done, but it is very simple, and the schools don't have to pay anything for it, and we can just utilize our product. We're already on the approved list in the Midwest, so we don't have to necessarily go through any additional steps. So Department of Homeland Security website is a great solution for you. All right, so that's kind of who we are. That's some of the opportunities that are out there. But which product is right from the customer? That all comes down to the site survey and the size of the building. Remember, I mentioned we make a lot of different products that'll do anywhere from a 1 to 2 room solution to 500,000 square foot opportunity. But the site survey really comes into play. So if I looked at what the opportunity is, and if you're able to provide us, you can email design@surecall.com. Make sure you copy me on it, eric.mercel@surecall.com. And I'll put the information back up for you at the end here. If you have a building drawing, we'll give you a full layout similar to the one that you see on the screen here. Recommendations for antenna location, cable runs. By doing this service, by utilizing the service, it'll help you with better planning. It'll help you with better preparing the proper bid. If you have the cable pass, you'll understand labor hours, all that good stuff. The site survey form is very, very simple to fill out. We're going to ask you just some basic information. Which carriers, what type of technology, is it voice and or data that they're looking for? the amount of estimated users that we expect out of it, and then the address, location of the building itself. But if you give us all that information, we'll give you a good little site survey. We know where the antennas are at, the towers are at for the carriers, so we're able to kind of place the product more conveniently so we can ensure we get the best reception. Of course, some of the basic questions, what is the square footage of the building, some of the construction materials that are out there, all those kind of play into a part as to how we're going to ensure that the cellular service is going to work, and we're going to penetrate the different walls that are out there. One of the questions that we want to make sure we also ask that's on there is, are we using a SureCall cable or are there pre-existing cable runs? It's a very important question to ask. It's not that we can't utilize RG6 or RG11 that's in the walls, but because this is a math and a numbers game for us, the SureCall systems all work off of a 50 ohm cable. So it's an LMR 400 series cable, and the reason why we do that is just because of that numbers game. Every 100 feet of an LMR 400 series cable is anywhere, depending on the frequency, anywhere from a 3.5 to a 6.5 dB worth of loss. If I look at the same frequencies and I look at an RG6 cable, I'm losing about 10.5 dB every 100 feet. So it's very, very significant for how much loss that we're associating with the cables. Now, again, can we use an existing RG6 in the walls? Because that's what a lot of our residential homes have already ran. Absolutely. Just let us know in advance that I cannot run cable for 3/4 of the house. I have to use the existing wiring in the home, and we will make the necessary adjustments internally to ensure we can get you the coverage. We'll also ensure that you have the right adapters, an N to an F adapter, to ensure we can connect into those areas as well. But how do we find that outside signal? There's a couple different ways. One way is you can utilize your phone. There's some good apps that are out there. Signal Finder is a good one for Android and for your iOS devices. It'll give you an approximate location of the towers. It'll give you a good signal strength reading of the network that's out there. There's a lot of different apps that you can utilize. No matter which one you use, just remember it only gives you your carrier's signal strength. So if you're on AT&T and your customer's on Verizon, you're going to run into some issues when I look at your signal strength versus what the other carrier might be offering. So SureCall does offer our signal meter, and the benefit of our signal meter here is it'll give you the signal readings for all of the carriers that are out there. And if a lot of the questions that I get is, Eric, I've got a signal of a -108 outside. Can I make this work? The answer is going to be no. We're going to probably tell you to walk away from the job, find a different solution, because just like anything else, garbage in, garbage out. If all I'm amplifying is noise, I can't give you a reliable signal inside the building. Now, if you come to me and say, Eric, I'm in a mid-80s to just under 100, can I make it work? Absolutely, we can make it work. We just want to set the right expectations for a customer. A lot of our boosters, when you look at them, especially when it comes down to marketing a square footage, some of the boosters say they'll do 25,000 square feet or up to 100,000 square feet, and that's with sprinkle and pixie dust and unicorns flying by with a perfect outdoor signal. Once you put them into a residential home or in a commercial space where we start adding walls, right, and attenuation, the coverage starts to shrink a little bit. So we just want to make sure we set the right expectations that are out there. With the signal meter, it's a very, very simple tool to use. It gives you predictable results that are out there, and we'll use the signal meter at 3 distinct modes, which allows you to inspect each frequency to ensure that we won't hit any overload issues or any limited signal issues prior to any type of installation. And we're going to go through quickly these 3 different modes, and I'll tell you which mode we use the most here is mode 3, but mode 1 and mode 2 are most important. I just want to show you what they look like here. So they come with rechargeable batteries. Once you flip the device on, the power switch is on the bottom. You hit the top left button, and it'll take you automatically. Mode 1 is on. Mode 1 will allow you to read block by block. So for this example, the cellular 800 mode, there are 2 blocks. A cellular 800 is utilized, that frequency is utilized by almost all the carriers that are out there. Verizon might have block A in Chicago, and AT&T might have block B in Chicago. How do we know which carrier is doing what? I'll show you in a second. But what this allows you to do is allow you to inspect each one of the bands. If I had PCS 1900 on here, it goes A to G. There's a lot more frequency or more blocks within that particular band. It's good if we run into issues that we have to inspect a little bit deeper. Same thing with mode 2. Mode 2 is frequency by frequency. Now with this, we do have a lot of guys that are overachievers that will go frequency by frequency and just enter them into an Excel spreadsheet. And it's great information for us to have. It really kind of takes the guesswork out if there are any issues because we can refer back to this chart. But it is pretty time consuming because there's probably 20 to 30 different frequencies for AT&T, Verizon, and all the other 5 bands that are out there. But it definitely allows you to inspect individual frequencies that your carrier may be using. Mode 3, guys, is the mode to use. So again, hold that upper left-hand button. It will scroll through the different modes. Mode 3, as you see on here, just above that red arrow, you can see that it has a range of 728 to 746 for AT&T. And down below is AWS, which is another frequencies that the carriers utilize, of a 2110 to 2155. It takes that entire range and it gives you an average signal strength. Now, in this particular case, you can see I had a negative 110. I was inside the building when I took these pictures. So we would not be able to utilize a signal like that to be able to enhance. Same thing with that AWS. It's a very, very weak signal. But mode 3, there are 5 numbers you have to write down. The LTE for AT&T, the LTE for Verizon, the 800 mode, the 1900 mode, and then this AWS 2100. Those 5 numbers will give you and your team a very fast way to be able to say, can I make this system work or not? Very, very easy way. Well, how do we know about any of the online assets that are out there? What do I know about the frequencies that are available out there? So we're going to go through these really quick on here, then we're going to get out of the presentation, actually go into the map so you guys can see how they work. But the carrier frequencies allow me, if I go to specmap.sequence-omega.net, you guys will get an email with a follow-up on all this stuff here too shortly, with just key notes. If you go to this, you can actually dial in just like on a Google Maps. You can click in, zoom down to a specific county to find out exactly what that network really looks like for you, and you can do it by carrier. And again, I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. AntennaSearch.com allows you to quickly determine where the nearest cellular antenna is located at. You type in the address, it pulls it up, and then you can start clicking on the different antennas that are out there to find out which carrier is which. So I'm going to jump out of this really quick, and we are going to go into this one. I got a lot of different things up here. And let's go to Antenna Search first. So Antenna Search, and let's just pick on, I know this one here. If you don't know the zip code, it's okay because it'll pull it up for you. So once you type it in, they'll say, here's the zip code. I want to process that one, or here's the address. Now, this does take a little bit of time because it's pulling the information from different areas, different access points. But once it pulls it up, and sometimes it can take up to 3 minutes. We're going to go to another site while that one's loading here. And this is the spec map. So spec map allows me to, and let's just pick on Chicago since we know kind of the areas that are out here. So spec map will be able to pull up with the different bands over here. So by band and by carrier, I click on that tab, and I just click on AT&T. This will pull up all the different frequencies that I have out here. So how do I know if I'm channel A or channel B? You can see the different counties that are out here. They do utilize in the LTE bands, they do utilize network or band B. If I click on the A network, we'll see who uses it. They don't use it at all. That's one we don't worry about. You can see a little bit more here. There we go. Here we go. So same thing, they use band A for cellular. You can see all the different frequencies that are listed here. So this is a great tool that if you ever got to an area where the signal might be a little bit weaker, or you're just worried, your customer says, I don't care about anybody else but AT&T, we can go into this and we can find out exactly which frequencies that carrier is using, the band that they're using, and then we can go back into the signal meter and we can find in that signal meter those particular frequencies so we can aim and point directly at that tower. How do we know those towers are at? Let's see if we're back up here. We are. So if I click on the View Tower Results, it'll pull up a nice little map for us, and you can see all the towers around this particular area that are out there. The ones that look like an actual tower, not the pin drops, those are the networks that are out there. This one's owned by T-Mobile. SBC is AT&T. And you can kind of just, as you click around, you'll find them all. Well, this one's probably owned by, let's find out. You scroll down, you can see them all that's down here. So you can start seeing all the different ones. This Castle, Crown, just as an FYI, they own most of Ameritech or Verizon's towers nowadays. So this is a lot of stuff that we do for you guys in the back end, so we would know where the house location is, we know which direction we have to point that antenna. And when we get into the actual installation techniques, we'll talk about the different type of antennas that we have with the Yagi versus an Omni, where I would want to utilize either one of those two particular antennas that are out there. All right. Hey now, how you doing? 1 second to get back to this. And here we go. All right, so the tools of the trade are definitely, those websites are definitely a good resource for you to be able to find the right access points. And then once we get to building recommendation, a lot of times I just have phone conversations with you guys. Might take 10 minutes to get a better solution or understand what the solution looks like for you. Would then determine the actual product that we want to be able to present to the clients. So again, I do make products that will do 1 to 2 rooms, and then I make the larger building products that are out there. But every one of our kits are sold and shipped as a kit. So you're going to get 1 outdoor antenna and a minimum of 1 inside antenna. And then we also have the cabling that comes with it. So typically you see a 30-foot antenna cable that comes from indoor to outdoor, and then a 75-foot cable that's provided for you to connect from the booster to the antennas themselves, for the indoor antennas. We do make kits that have multiple antennas, and if you choose that particular kit, which, again, we'll lead you to that, but that'll include all the accessories you would need, from the splitters to the cabling, the antennas, the booster, all that stuff would be included in it. And I'm going to start just kind of a brief overview by these 1 to 2 rooms and the solutions that are out there. The Easy 4G solution is a great solution for somebody where you cannot penetrate to the outside of the building. Now, I know we've utilized this antenna in some high-rise locations in downtown Chicago where we don't have access to the outdoor. You mount it in the window, you hide it by a curtain, you hide it behind a valance, and it's a higher gain antenna that'll definitely pull the signal in. And just from our experience that we've had with it recently, we've been able to make some very finicky customers very, very happy about how their service is working on the inside. So how it works is you'll get the 1 to 2 rooms of solution because your desktop antenna is the actual amplifier and an Omni antenna in one unit. And then the outdoor antenna, which is our window mount antenna, gets mounted up in the window. This product sells for $349 retail, and it's a good solution for the areas we just cannot penetrate to the outside. If you had a smaller opportunity, like the Flare product, again, smaller space, if you had to do a basement area, or maybe it's the man cave or the theater room area, this is very similar to what I showed you. However, it gives you the ability to add an outdoor antenna. So sometimes the window mount antenna, we just can't get the right direction, or we don't have a strong enough signal because of what the windows are made out of. This will penetrate to the outside, give me a stronger signal, and still give me that 1 to 2 room style solution. Retail on this is $399 as well. When I get into the Fusion for Home product, the Fusion for Home is our first booster that utilizes our standard technology. Technology has been tried and true that's out there. We have our Yagi antenna, which you can see here, the larger high gain antenna, which we would direct outside of the building towards one of our towers. And then our panel antennas, which we're able to utilize to fill in an entire floor or home, depending on the size of the home itself. The Fusion for Home booster will handle up to 8 simultaneous users, and of open air space, it'll cover about 40,000 square feet. So it's 4,000 square feet, not 40. It's a good booster to be able to give that single floor type of solution, which a lot of our customers look at. A lot of our customers will say, look, I just have problems in the kitchen. Can I get something just to do the kitchen area? Absolutely, we can. This booster retails for $549. As we get into the larger boosters, our Fusion 5S, which, when we get to the end of this presentation, we'll talk about some of the promos that we have. Fusion 5S is one of those promo items that we want to start to sell through a little bit more rapidly because some newer product that will be coming out. But this booster will cover up to 6,000 square feet. It can handle up to 2 antennas. I should mention the Fusion for Home system can only have 1 indoor antenna on it. The Fusion 5S, the one that I'm showing here, can handle 2 antennas, so now you have more of a whole home solution because you can split the floors, 1 to 2 floors. It works out very, very well. Retails for $1,100. And again, the promo price at the end here, you guys will be excited about the offering that we have. The Fusion 5X is our latest booster. As you can notice on the front of this booster, there are no more dials. With the software that the FCC has allowed us to do, the booster will automatically increase and decrease gain for the booster to maintain the coverage levels that we want inside the building itself. It'll cover up to 20,000 square feet. It'll handle up to 20 simultaneous users. We've recently used this in pizzerias. We've used it in lobby areas of multi-dwelling units, MDUs, apartment complexes, gathering places. It's a very, very popular booster. And if I look at the opportunity with this booster, we start getting to more higher-end residential homes, more custom homes, because of the capability of it to handle up to 4 inside antennas. So in that box with the 4 inside antennas, MSRP is only $1,700. It's a very good value in the marketplace. And then when we get into the Fusion 7, the Fusion 7 is a Fusion 5X, but it includes your Wi-Fi and HDTV capabilities. But the benefit of this particular product gives you, a lot of people ask me, Eric, why the heck do you put Wi-Fi in your booster? You know, I'm going to go sell a Luxel system that's going to outperform this thing. And I'm going to tell you every day, absolutely it will. This is designed for that backup network or for a guest network. Maybe it's for the kids network. So it allows you to separate the systems out there. As long as you're connecting the router into our booster, it'll allow you to utilize our antennas as access points. And it gives you the, up to, I want to say here, it is a 2.5 gig router, N-type router, so it'll handle all the standard connections that we have today. The other capability of this booster here is it has HDTV capabilities. Where we've seen this really kind of take off is if you had somebody, larger residential home, somebody with a backup network, they're pulling HDTV off the airways. A lot of sports bars utilize our product here because it does give them that second access point, especially if they're using satellite and a storm rolls through during a sporting event. They have an extra point of access to be able to pull that HD signal in and distribute up to 25 televisions just going through your standard TV, HDTV distribution blocks. A retail of $2,000, $19.99. It has definitely become a more popular booster out there in the marketplace just because of the capabilities of it. And the last booster I want to show you guys is the Force 5. The Force 5 is a direct descendant from our consumer line, or from our industrial line. This is the booster that we first showed you that had all the compartmentalized in it, the larger filters that are inside for cellular calling. This is 100 simultaneous users. It'll handle up to 25,000 square feet. And this particular booster can do up to 6 antennas on it. We typically try to hold it to around 4 antennas, but this is, if you're doing any type of commercial application or very large residential homes, this is the booster that's our go-to. It retails for $4,300 and, again, allows you to do a lot of other capabilities with it, like Sentry remote monitoring. So the Sentry remote monitoring is that device that allows you to increase and decrease the gains, whether it be off of your Android device. iOS will be coming this month, but Android for right now, and then off of your Mac and or PC. The way that it works and what it does for you is it allows it to monitor the booster itself. Once you install it, you walk away from the job. If a storm came through, carrier turned up the gain on their cellular antennas, you'll get an email alert to say there's an issue with the booster, here's what we're seeing, and you can remotely increase, decrease gains, reset the booster, which again saves you a lot of time from having to run a truck back out there to try and figure something out. Our tech team, if you guys can't figure it out by utilizing this, our tech team will actually ask for access into it, and with your permission, they'll be able to go in and get a really good snapshot as to what is going on with it and really be able to help adjust particular bands to make the booster work perfectly. The Sentry device will work on the Fusion 5X as an Xavier, the Fusion 7, and then up to the Force 5. And as we look down the road here, the Sentry device, just because it's is a very crucial part in how it differentiates us in the marketplace. We're running a lot of different promos on it, and just one of the promos that is a constant promo. If you purchase a Force 5, the Sentry automatically comes with it. Just let us know you want it, and we'll give it to you for free, which is about a $400 value that you can add to your customer's product billing side. We do not charge any type of recurring revenue for this. There is not a monthly charge to keep the device, nor is there an annual fee. It's just something, a service and a solution that we offer to you guys. So that's a high-end product review, high-level product overview. The difference really comes down to, again, the free configuration assistance, the remote Sentry monitoring, the different types of antenna configurations from your Omni outside, your Yagi outdoor antenna, to your window mount antenna, from products that range anywhere from your car all the way up to a public safety booster itself. We spend a lot of time refining the products before they get out to the marketplace, and that really kind of leads to our 1% return rate overall. That is the lowest return rate that from any manufacturer I've ever worked for, I've ever seen out there in the industry. The product works very, very well, and we work with you hand in hand to ensure we get that customer to be as happy as we possibly can. So we've done the site survey. We know what product. We've installed it. Now there's a little bit of troubleshooting, right? Sometimes there are some issues out there. We don't necessarily see too many of them, but a lot of times the customer goes, I just can't make a phone call for some reason. So it's the troubleshooting aspects. You can always call our tech support number. They are based out of California, so they're Pacific time, but they're 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. We've got 5 guys dedicated to help you guys work through any type of troubleshooting you have. But you got me locally, so any questions, you'll feel free to give me a call. But one of the questions we always get is, on the boosters that have the dials, Eric, where do I set the dials? The answer all the time is leave them at max gain. There are going to be some times where you might see some type of flashing lights on there. So if you look at the little LEDs in the front of the booster itself, if they are not flashing at all, just like these boosters, there's nothing going on with them, they are working absolutely fine. If we see any type of red flashing lights, so a flashing red light, that means that outdoor signal is so strong that we want to add some type of an attenuator to it to cool it down. So one of the tools that you want to try and keep with you is that we make a 5, a 10, and a 20 dB attenuator. I would recommend just to leave them on the truck, leave them in your toolbox, whatever it might be, just so you have them. The 10 dB attenuator is probably our number one product that fixes most of the issues when it comes out to overpowering. Although the new software inside our boosters, the threshold for it to go into overpower, you'd have to be sitting on top of a cellular tower out there in order for it to shut the booster off. But a lot of times red flashing lights, and we can attenuate it to cool it off just to make the system work better. If there's a yellow flashing light, that means our automatic gain control, which is FCC mandated. That's what allows us to increase and decrease the gains through the software controls inside the booster. That's activated. That is normal operation. Flashing yellow is absolutely fine. But the biggest one you want to make sure you stay away from is that yellow and red alternating. Yellow and red back and forth means your inside antenna is too close to your outdoor antenna. So the only way we can fix that is getting extra distance between the two of them, which a lot of times we don't have the capabilities of doing, especially in residential homes. Or we go back to the booster itself. Let's say the LTE was flashing amber and red. We can then take that gain and we can start turning it down every 5 dB until that goes away. We're not affecting the gain of any of the other networks that are out there. And all we're doing is reducing the gain so we can eliminate any type of crosstalk or oscillating that the booster systems will see. If you're utilizing a Force 5, they're dip switches. And every dip switch, so the 1, the 2, the 4, this is the amount of attenuation that we're adding. So 1 dB of attenuation, 2, 4, 8, 16. And as you flip it up, you're adding 1. If you flip the next one up, now we're at 3. And we add the next one, we're at 7, and we can turn 1 on. We can play with this until our heart's content. But if you have the Sentry hooked up to it, you don't have to worry about any of the dip switches. You just go in and say, I want this to work at this level. You hit submit, and it's over and done with. Very, very easy to do. The absolute last thing that we have to do is we have to register the booster. This is not to gain approval, so you don't have to go get approval for the boosters that are out to install them. what this does for us is it allows the carriers to create kind of a network. They all share this information. The easiest one, honestly, to do is T-Mobile's. If you just go to their signal booster registration, you type in the address, you type in the type of booster and a serial number, which is on the top of all the boosters. You hit submit, and you're done with it. You don't have to do it for all carriers. Just pick one of them. And then once you have that done, you're automatically registered in their system, and you can walk away from the job. So this is definitely something that we want to make sure that the product is registered just with the carrier's help. We also offer a large avenue for you guys to be able to receive a lot of different marketing support that's out there. Let it be from a product information sheet. If you have a website and you want to be able to put the product on your website, we've got access pages for you guys to be able to pull information down. If you want a banner created, give me a call. Let me know. Give me about 2 to 3 weeks to create the banner, and we'll hand it over to you. All I need are the dimensions for what you're working with, and we'll get the guys to create it for you. And then, of course, getting into the product catalog, we've got full product catalogs that are out there for you. So we also have a large YouTube site. So if you want to be able to go in there and look at all of our different opportunities, if you want to see specifically how to work a signal meter, I think there's 5 different segments of about an 8-minute video showing you how to work signal meters. Just go to youtube.com and then type in SureCall University, and you'll see us pull up with all the different assets that we have there for training as well. So that's the presentation, guys.